dream communication, astral travel, and telepathy. That's what this video is all about. I'm going to give you 3 reliable tips that I've learned throughout my entire life in shamanism so you can contact other people whenever you feel like it, all right? So don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share, and check out the links in the descriptions below if you want to check out any of my courses or work with me one-on-one. So the first thing you really have to understand is that telepathy, astral travel, and dreamtime communication are all the same exact thing. A lot of people like to think that they're separate only because they seem so in your experience. So like astral travel seems a little bit different than telepathy just because a lot of times you'll experience astral travel when you're having an out of body experience. Telepathy tends to be the same exact operation except you're usually conscious when you're trying to do it. And really, dreamtime communication can even seem different than telepathy or astral travel. But in real time, if you think about it, what you're doing is you're traveling the astral realm and then you're having a telepathic communication with someone else while you're asleep dreaming. And I just wanted to make this bridgeway so you can understand that a lot of superpowers are the same superpower, just rinsed and repeated or changed in the way you interact with them. And in Antojai, what that's understood as is your perception. Your perception of something changes your interaction with that. You can go to the same restaurant, have the dish that you always love, but if it's a different cook or maybe you're having a really bad day, that dish might have a different perception which makes it taste different, or you might not end up liking that particular dish anymore after that interaction. So step 1 is super easy to do. Right before you're about to go to sleep, set the intention that you're going to communicate with someone that you already have some sort of tie with. Maybe your mom, maybe a best friend, maybe a client even. Usually this particular kind of exercise works if you and someone else are aware that you are going to do like this experiment. So I would call one of my friends, let them know, hey, I want to try, dreamtime communication. Let's just plan to meet up in the astral realm and see what happens, right? By doing this, you allow yourself to have this energy of, okay, I'm being proactive. I'm going to choose to have an interaction in the astral realm with other people that are choosing to create that same manifestation with me. Now, one of the things that you really have to understand that is deep in the Antohai teachings is that the law of attraction and manifestation are in everything that you're doing. So the fact that 2 people are deciding to use the law of attraction so that they can have a dream time communication is making the most out of all the infinity magic that's available to you on a day-to-day basis. Just remember to write everything down as soon as you can. Sometimes you have that brief moment of waking up, right? And you're like, oh, well, I'll remember what I'm thinking about right now and I'll come back to it later. That's actually gonna disappear. So, like, if you have that brief moment of waking up, rather talk to your Alexa, make a note, or end up writing it down in some way, shape, or form so that you can review it with your friend later. Tip number 2. This is one of the fastest ways that I developed astral travel and telepathy in general. I decided to start hanging out with deities and gods. So a lot of times you might already notice that there's a deity around you that you've experienced in your life, but choose somebody new. So like I ended up choosing at the time Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction. At the time, I didn't know anything about Shiva, so it was a really cool experience because I said, hey, Shiva, I want to have a communication with you every time I meditate, every time I go to sleep, and every time I'm in a daydream, basically. I put that intention out into the cosmos, knowing that Shiva was listening to me, and I did so in a respectful manner. So I wanted to know that I respect his time and his energy and his, willingness to even work with me, and I will cherish every moment and lesson that comes of it. After I set that intention, I noticed that Shiva started popping up everywhere around me, whether it was through books, media, I would be somewhere and somebody would be talking about it. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of like interesting. That was a sign that I used the law of attraction and I set up a synchronicity with Shiva to have telepathic communication. Synchronicity is telepathic communication. So the moment I started seeing Shiva everywhere, it was almost like Shiva telling me, okay, cool, I'm gonna hang out with you. When I accepted, I said, okay, well, this is Shiva's calling card. Like they are calling me back, texting me, let's hang out. When I went to sleep the next time, I said, all right, well, I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm gonna end up in Shiva's dimension and we're gonna have an experience. I would let whatever naturally happened and jot down everything that I could whenever I had the opportunity to do so. This not only showed me all about Shiva, but also it taught me how telepathy and the astral realm in general is always talking to you. You don't have to be asleep to have dream time communications with someone. Because a lot of times we think about like our imagination being the most active when we're in an artistic state or we're sleeping, we have to be stimulated. But really, your imagination is working all the time. And your imagination is the astral realm, which can allow you to have dream time communication even though you're daydreaming. So then Shiva really taught me a lot about, like, okay, in a daydream, if you really get into it and you know that you're having this communication with me, any other deity, or another person, you're going to see reality react. There is no off button to reality. We go to sleep so we can have like an off like experience, but reality continues even though we fall asleep. So working with Shiva really opened my mind on how to change my perspective on dreamtime communication, because this is a dream. We are dreaming actively, right? So when you learn how to do it in real time while you're awake and dreaming, not just sleeping and dreaming, everything changes. Tip number 3. You have to normalize telepathy. You have to understand that telepathy is happening all the time, even if you're not trying to do it. And I know this sounds a little bit similar to tip 2, but you have to normalize it as like it's a law of your reality. I started realizing that if I thought about somebody and I had a negative thought about them, even if they weren't in my presence, that person technically at a soul level is still picking up on the energy and the thoughts, the vibrations of me thinking about them negatively. So it forced me to really change the way I thought about communication as a whole. Now every thought can have an impact. And through quantum science, we know that when you think something, it has a 1x charge. When you say something, it has a 10x charge. So it forced me to stop gossiping about other people. It's forced me to stop talking about other people, because if my thought, when it's vocalized, turns into a 10x vibration, I know for sure another person's spirit or soul is going to hear that. And even if they don't have high level of psychic awareness, their unconscious will react in a specific way that may be disadvantageous to me later. So it really forced me to kind of like change my own ethics on how I deal with my own reality and how I even vent to the cosmos, because that was something that was really powerful about this. And because I started doing this, I started realizing that my telepathy was constantly on, right? Because there is no off in reality. I'm communicating all the time with everything in my environment, the trees, the cosmos, other people. That's why I can feel when I shouldn't go to a specific store, because right now it's going to be jam packed, right? That's something I had to kind of like fall into, because I realized that everything is telepathic. I can know traffic or cosmological events before even technology picks up on it, because telepathy is always broadcasting something. All I have to do is tune into the telepathy channel, which is the dream channel, which is this reality, the astral realm. And if I just constantly recognize that's happening just like air, like I just breathed in telepathy. I just breathe in the ethers and the astral. I'm breathing in literally the dream. Like I just breathe out into the dream. This is all connected, right? So right now, if I wanted to connect with somebody in the ethers, I know I could. If I said something about one of my friends right now, they would call me, because it's in alignment. Because I'm connected to everything. This is the third step that's a little bit more advanced, but if you can force yourself to see reality and live like this your entire life, there's no way you cannot become telepathic and psychic. So I hope these tips work out for you. If you tried them before, let me know in the comments below. If you're trying them now and you see that they work, let me know, because every little bit of what you share helps everyone else in this community grow together. So I'm sending you a ton of love. Don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, check out the links in the description below, and also all the other free resources that I have, so you can be part of the Antojai community. Love you. Bye.